Okay, okay. Good morning, everyone. Is this on? Can you hear this? Okay. We're glad you joined us for worship today. Whoever you are, whatever your theological, spiritual, political, sexual, or racial orientation, you are welcome to worship here and become a. We had a great last night. It was well attended, and we had a lot of good treats. Everybody, I think, enjoyed it. Any other announcements about that?
I have one of those. I'm actually glad that Barbara's here because we're doing this with her church. On Sunday, April 26th at 1:30 at UU. Our church and Barbara's church have gone halvesies on a engagement on Abigail Adams, who was born just a stone's throw from Barbara's church. So if anybody's interested in history, particularly local history, tickets are $15 a person. You can see me or Barbara, or you can show up at the door with cash. But it's going to be a nice little local event celebrating America's birthday.
Good. And I know next Saturday we have a yard sale, big sale, Debbie?
On that note, the sale is Saturday. Posting hours will be at the church. But tomorrow will be at 3 to 7. If anybody wants to provide help. But during or shortly after coffee hour, probably during, we need some tables moved out. So we'll be able to set up during the week. So if we have a couple of people that can help with that, we appreciate that. And,
Okay.
when you'll be able to drop items off and you can see us coffee hour. And it's a bakery also. So if we can supply some goodies for Saturday, we drop them off Friday night, that would be great. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. Any other announcements? Aaron?
Last week, the children hunted for eggs, and inside some of the eggs were coins that represented $1. And they got to choose which charities they wanted to put their dollars into. And those are out on the stage, so if anybody wants to add any coins or dollars, you can add them to charities, and they're American Red Cross, Boston Children's Hospital, and the Dayton Humane Society.
Okay, thank you. Any other announcements? Yes, Lauren?
I have eggs again today, so if you want some eggs, and if you have egg cartons, I'll take.
Okay, very good. And one last, we do have a Prudential Committee meeting at 11:30 today. Okay, and with that, I'd like to welcome Reverend Barbara.
Unlike Mike, who is tall, I need that little thing. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. Good morning. It's Is that better? Good, 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 good. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Nice to see everyone. We're kind of doing a pulpit exchange this morning. Rick Snee is over at UU Church in Weymouth, and I'm here. So a win-win situation for everybody. If this is your first time here, welcome. If it's not your first time here, welcome. It's lovely to see everyone. It's one of those days, I think, where it's going to start off cool again, and they promise it going to be up to the maybe high 50s, low 60s. I was kind of, I guess, maybe foolish the other day, but it felt great. I broke out my chaise and stuck it on my deck. None of my other furniture is out there. But I thought I'll just take a little snuggle here for, well, 40 minutes later, when I woke myself up, because apparently my husband said my mouth was wide open and I was snoring. But women, of course, don't snore. But apparently I did. And I had a sunburn on both of my cheeks. Lotion, no. So I went to see my granddaughters that next day, and they both were just aghast that I had a sunburn in April on my cheeks. But that has soon faded. But it was fun while it lasted. How's that? Now is the time for our chalice lighting. And we have someone to do that this morning. Great. Please stand as you are willing and able, and we will recite our chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. Would you join with me also in saying our affirmation? Love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God. The first hymn this morning is an easy one, thankfully, because Maddie is not here to accompany us. It's number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.
We're going to attempt to read you one song.
Number 20.
Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the friendship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild. Source of all, to thee we raise this hymn of grateful praise.
Thank you.
Thank you for making up me know.
I know. Little did I know at the time. I'm so glad that someone else could lead you all in song, because not only can't I shouldn't. So I didn't. So thank you very much. It sounded absolutely, I like the harmony. So I have a question for all of you kids. I have several questions, actually. Some of the big questions that adults seem always to ask kids are the following. How old are you? Do you like being a big brother or a big sister or an only child? What do you want to be when you grow up? And the one when you come back to school in September or in April or in February, what did you do over vacation? And then the one that all the grandparents ask you, how's school going? And I know the answer to that. It's usually, right? Am I right? Yeah. Now, some of the big questions that adults seldom ask kids are these. Are you happy? Do you get scared sometimes? Do you like your life? Do you ever wonder why you were here? Now, all of these questions have a place, of course, but the last four adults ask are also ones that maybe we should be asking ourselves. Am I happy? Most of the time. Always? No. Do I ever get scared? Yes. Do I like my life? Pretty much. Do I ever wonder why I am here? All the time. I think it is a natural thing for us as humans to wonder why we were born and why we are here on this earth. I think that these happen to be religious questions that beg an answer, and I don't have any. I think some of it is just luck that we happen to find ourselves on this earth, in this time and place, on this street, and today in this church. I guess we could have been born 500 years ago or 500 years from now, but we weren't. We're here now, so I think there must be some kind of reason for it. I do think that all of us are unique. I want you to look at your fingers right now. Yeah. Do you know that nobody else has the same fingerprints that you have? No one in this entire world has fingerprints like you. Isn't that amazing? So it makes us all different and unique. You know what unique means? Completely different from everybody else, right? We are our own person. I think it's special when we all think of ourselves as special. And I think it's really nice when somebody else makes us feel special. Do any of you have somebody who makes you feel special? Do you have more than one person who makes you feel special? Me too. Me too. Isn't it nice? Yeah, it is. It's a good thing. I have two granddaughters, and you've probably heard me talk about them. The older one is very social and outgoing, and she's a very, very supportive big sister. And I often comment on these qualities when I see her or text her. I have a younger one who's going to be 9, and she's shyer and a little more tentative, but she looks like an orangutan when she's hanging off of the monkey bars. And I always tell her that too. All of us have good qualities, and we all need someone to admire them. And do you ever forget that? You that wonderful. She's looking at me like, no, I always know I'm special. That is a wonderful thing. How about you? Yeah, sometimes do you think, I don't know. I think it's really, really nice when somebody can point that out for us and make us feel like we belong. I hope that happens here for you at church. It happens for me when I go to church. So I hope you have really good classes today. It's time for you to get out of here, and we'll sing you out of here. How's that? Can we do that? Let's see. Thank you.
Peace, may surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Now, do we have someone who wants to be in charge of the candles of, yes, we do, joy and concern this morning? This is a time when if you have a joy and or a concern in your heart, your mind, your soul, and if you would like to make it verbal, please feel free to do so. If it is a joy, we will rejoice with you. And if it is a sorrow, we will commiserate with you and hopefully alleviate some of your sadness if it's a sad one and make you feel special like we wanted our kids to feel today.
Go ahead, Jude.
There's some sunshine lately. All that doom and gloom is gone, hopefully. And a great show last night at the Coffee House.
Good.
It was a good time. So I just missed it.
I have a joy and a concern. My concern is for my friend Kathy, who's ill, and also Susan, who's a member, and she's been struggling with her asthma, so I just hope she feels better. My joy was, I hope that Erin and Debbie understand how special they are and how much people appreciate them, and I wish that someday their full-time job of supporting this church would be a part-time job.
My concern is that there is so much, to fight for and change in this world, but my joy is that I am here and I'm done wallowing in sadness and hopelessness.
Thank you.
I have a couple. I want to thank June in particular for staying up late and washing dishes, because I was going to help do that and then I couldn't. So thank you, June. And I also have a joy. Rockland had our local elections yesterday, and we kicked out a member of our Board of Health who is really not serving the board very well, and we got somebody who's going to be functional and on there. So thank you to everybody in Rockland who voted.
If there are no others, I will light one last candle for the joys and concerns that we hold deeply within our hearts.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing. Oh, it's sometimes not easy to share our joys and concerns, but I think it's just by saying them. If it's a burden, it helps to release it. And if it's a joy, I see whenever someone mentions something joyful, others break into smile. So thank you all. Shall we take a few moments now in prayer and or meditation to consider not just our own lives, but we have no choice but to look at the world situation as well. It has been a tough week, and not good news came back this morning that there is no accord from the peace talks. I can't say that I'm surprised, but I also heard someone speaking this morning on CNN on my way here that said, really, it's just the beginning. This person had worked for the State Department and said, I think there were 120 hours that have been put into an accord so far. And he said, when there are 120,000 hours put into the effort of a peace accord, perhaps then we will come to some peace over there. I don't know if that will be true, but hopefully more talk will help. So please keep all of these things in mind. Take a few moments to gather your thoughts, to think, to pray if you will, to reflect, after which we will join together in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. Could we start in to sing hymn number 123? Mike, could you start us off? Thank you, and thank you, Mike, for leading us. Now is the time for our monetary offering. Without your help, this church does not continue. So please be generous, open up your wallets, let the money flow out, and then we can pay our bills.
Please join us in the dedication of the gifts.
Please stand as you are able and willing.
We bring ourselves as gifts to thee. Oh, bind our hearts this sacred hour in faith and hope and charity. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. I don't know about you, but almost daily I invoke the name of God. Sometimes in the form of a mild swear. God damn it, what the hell? When some guy cuts me off. Other times it is in the manner of bewilderment. What in God's name is going on in here? When I cannot figure out what's happening. Often it's when I'm at my wit's end. God only knows if I don't know what else to do in a situation. Occasionally, it's when I've been in pain. Ow, that really hurts. God, make it stop. Like when I've broken a bone. Sometimes it's when I am seeking guidance or assistance. God, please help me. As a minister, I often think that I should be more religious than I am. I don't think I've ever read the entire Bible. I am not very knowledgeable about world religions, and I often feel guilty that I do not pray enough. As a child, before I fell asleep, my mother would recite with me this prayer. Now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord, my soul. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. I hated that prayer. It terrified me. I am quite sure that my mother, raised Baptist and then Methodist, thought that this was a soothing message, but I never did. Why would a child want to ever think of going to sleep with that horrible idea in her head that there was a possibility she might not ever wake up again? At 7, I vowed never to utter this prayer to my child, and I have kept this promise. That said, when friends and loved ones ask for my prayers, I willingly agree to supply them and to comply with their requests. Honestly, though, I am not really sure to whom I should be addressing them. The concept of God varies widely across different cultures, religions, and philosophies. Here are a few perspectives. 1, Christianity. God is often understood as a supreme being who created and sustains the universe. Most Christians believe in the Holy Trinity, which means God exists as 3 persons in one essence: the Father, the Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. 2, Islam. In Islam, God is known as Allah. Muslims believe Allah is the one and only God, who is all-powerful, all-knowing, and merciful. The Quran is considered the holy book that contains God's revelations to humanity. Number 3, Hinduism. Hinduism has a more complex view of divinity, with many gods and goddesses representing different aspects of the supreme reality Brahman. Key deities include Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi. 4, Judaism. In Judaism, God, Yahweh, is the singular, all-powerful creator and ruler of the universe. The Hebrew Bible, Tanakh, contains the teachings and laws given by God to the people of Israel. Philosophical views, number 5. Some philosophical perspectives view God as the greatest conceivable being, the cause of all things, or even as the universe itself. We should take a look at these concepts. In the Christian view, God, capital G, suggests that this is a supreme being in the form of 3 persons: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Partly because I do not believe that Jesus was fathered by the Father, this definition does not work for me. Jesus was a man, a prophet, and an all-around great guy, but probably not divine. In Islam, Muslims think of Allah as the one and only God. Because I do not feel that my concept of God is necessarily yours, Islam is not for me. Hinduism intrigues me. It offers the prospect of several different entities to whom one could not only pray, but also blame for one's failings or ill fortune. Judaism. I like some of the Jewish practices, such as making amends at Yom Kippur, but I am not sure about putting all my faith in an all-powerful creator and ruler. This leaves a philosophical viewpoint, where God is considered the greatest conceivable being and perhaps the creator of the universe itself. This pantheistic view aligns with my nature-based approach to God, so maybe I can glom onto that one. While it is interesting and intriguing to see different concepts of God to whom one might pray and or turn, the next question must be, why would we do so? All of the aforementioned viewpoints suggest that God is very powerful, some say all powerful, implying that the being has control and influence over the lives of humans. How then can one reconcile this beliefs if one's prayers are not answered? For example, one might call upon God to intervene before a loved one's surgery, asking for divine intervention so that the patient lives. The patient lives, God has served us well. The patient dies, God has not. God only hears some of us. God only listens some of the time. God wanted to help out, but he was on a golf course at that time. God doesn't love me. Any of you have a $20 bill in your pocket this morning? If you do, take it out. Come on. Anybody got a $20 bill? If you haven't already, put it in the offering plate. Not too late. All right, take a look at it. In 1954, not too long after World War II, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed a bill to bring the phrase "under God" into our country's Pledge of Allegiance, written only 62 years prior in 1892. The second Red Scare in America was the impetus necessary to press Congress and the president to subvert communism and show the world that the United States was God-fearing, not godless like Russia, thus allowing for the passage of the change. The thought in the late 1900s was that too many non-white European immigrants were flooding into the United States, and they might better assimilate if they were forced to recite a pledge to our country. Americanization was the goal. However, even entry into World War II did not invite a desire to add a religious connotation to the pledge, but as I mentioned, the threat of communism apparently did. In 1956, Eisenhower again was responsible for making the phrase "In God We Trust" to become the nation's official motto, thus leading it to being added to all of our US currency. You could have done it, I think, with a $1 bill, but the 20 is so much more emphatic. Where does this leave those who call themselves Americans who may be atheists or agnostics? What if their gods are many or not just one? How do they fit into American life and religion? Are they less than those who do hold such beliefs? Are they evil? A few of the synonyms for atheism in Webster's New Collegiate Dictionary are heresy, profaneness, and paganism. Antonyms are belief and faith. Does this assume that one is faithless or without belief if one even questions the existence of God? Julie, I love that you're laughing there. I know he is. I know he is. I don't know if you heard Julie, her husband is delivering a service at my church about belief, and he avows himself as an atheist, and maybe he should be here hearing this one today. I know that he can watch it later. I think that almost every American president has been sworn into office with one hand in the air and the other one atop the Bible. There were a few exceptions, however. John Quincy Adams, a Unitarian, no surprise here, chose to be sworn in using a law book. Teddy Roosevelt used no book at all, and Lyndon Johnson used a Catholic missal that had belonged to JFK. Every elected official is required to swear an oath that he or she will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, with no requirement that any of them need to be sworn into office using any religious book. So, although it may be tradition that our leaders place hands upon a Bible, there is no necessity to do so. And why is there no need to do this? Because in this country, our country, we do not have a national religion. No one has to adhere to any religious dogma. In fact, no one has to believe in God at all to be or to become an American. So, given all that, why is it so common to hear and read of God's name being invoked? Bless you. Someone sneezes, God bless you. Embarking on a tenuous journey, may God be with you. Leaving on a trip back home, Godspeed. Saying the Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under God. I think that the answer is simple. As humans, we are a linguistic species. While most animals use some form of audible chatter to communicate their thoughts, only humans, as far as we know, are capable of concocting an actual language. In fact, we are capable of making up many languages, about 7,000 different ones worldwide, and that doesn't include the dead ones that no one uses anymore. So, as articulate as we may be, we are still at a loss often in describing our experiences, our desires, and our beliefs. As broad as our language base may be, sometimes it fails us in communicating with others. We turn to poets and writers to say for us that which we cannot say for ourselves. No wonder, then, that we are at a loss when searching for an appropriate word to describe the force that some refer to as God. How inadequate is that word? When I meet with couples whose intention it is to marry, they often say in response to my question about any religious affiliation, "Oh, I don't go to any church. I'm not very religious." Yet when asked what type of ceremony the couple envisions, their response most often is, "I want something spiritual." Isn't that the same thing? I don't think so. While at first blush the two may seem similar, I see vast differences, at least in the way we usually define religious. Religion seems so organized, so confining, so rigid, so limiting to so many. Spirituality evokes an openness, a willingness to search for what speaks to us individually, and a desire to broaden, not limit, our horizons. At an open house at the UU Church of Weymouth a few years ago, I was asked, is Unitarian Universalism an organized religion like Catholicism or what? My response was perhaps a little bit too lighthearted. We are the most disorganized religion I know. My answer was probably flippant, although I really didn't mean it to be. The woman who had asked the question looked surprised by my answer, so I tried to explain it further. By that, I mean that we do not adhere to any strict dogma. No one has to give up any of their old beliefs to be a UU. All we ask is that you are willing to widen your journey's path toward finding what helps you to answer the age-old questions. Why are we here? Is there a God? What is my purpose? Am I fulfilling it? And can I get better and be better? It may make us squirm to stray out of our comfort zones. We all become complacent in our personal lives and our careers and in our spiritual journeys. Sometimes I think it's good for us to question that which scares us or makes us anxious, keeps us on our toes. Whatever God there may be, that being or entity or force of nature, whatever we may call it or not call it, we are here on this planet for such a short time. Is God on our side? What about those on the other side? How about those in the middle? I do not know the answer. I am as ignorant of the answers as any of us. I question God's existence daily. Yet I believe that I have seen and continue to see examples of radical kindness and boundless love and devotion wherever I look. If that is proof that God is alive and well, so be it. I guess I have to take that answer until another one reveals itself. Call it prayer or convocation or invocation, call it whatever you will. I can always use some divine guidance and wisdom. So help me, God. Amen. And now is time for our closing hymn, which is also not too bad. We can handle it. We're strong. Our little chorus is going to come up and lead us again. You've done a marvelous job. It's hymn number 12, O Life That Maketh All Things New.
O life that maketh all things new, the blooming earth, our thoughts within, our pilgrim feet, wherewith I do in gladness hither turn again. From hand to hand the greeting flows, from eye to eye the signals run, from heart to heart the bright hope glows, the seekers of the light are one. One in the freedom of the truth, one in the joy of paths untrod, one in the soul's perennial youth, one in the larger thought of God. The free step, the fuller breath, the wide horizon's grander view, the sense of life that knows no death, the life that maketh all things new.
Thank you very much. Mike, would you be willing to extinguish our chalice? Thank you. And as Mike does that, would you join with me in saying our chalice lighting extinguishing words? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, or the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. You may be seated if you like. You can go and have coffee. We do not have Maddie to sing us or play us into the next realm. But I am very, very pleased that all of you were here today. I hope that you have a wonderful week. I hope you had a marvelous time last week. And I hope that you all stay well until I see you again. Amen.
Please join us for coffee hour after the service.